Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
All my bags are packed, ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
Well, Nate, what do you think? Is it time to pack our bags and leave the country?
I'm thinking, theoretically it's getting there, right?
Man, I don't know.
You know?
I haven't heard so much chitter chatter and talk about places to go. People are getting upset.
Yeah, I mean, if it was an option that I think I would ever consider, I wouldn't be too far from considering it now. I mean, with everything, congratulations to New York. You're now, well, you were, but now you're really one of the most restrictive. You're on your way to being the
gun control capital of the United States.
Yeah, exactly right. So,
we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to welcome you to another episode of At Odds. We're live in the back room of the 2 Bucks and Chains pub and studio in the greater Lansing area in the great state of Michigan. In what country, Nate?
Granada.
Today's show, we'll talk about gun control, debt limit, state secessions, the presidential inauguration, and more. So don't go away.
Yeah, this show is brought to you by Audible.com. We want to remind you to head over to audibletrial.com/@odds. Sign up for a free 30-day trial and get a free audiobook download. They have over 100,000 titles over there, from speeches, comedy, books, all sorts of things for your iPods, your iPhones, your MP3 players, your Android devices.
Just about anything you'd want.
Just about anything you can get audiobooks on, they have it.
I bet you could get the Bible.
I bet you could get the Bible in audiobook. That wouldn't be a bad choice. Audibletrial.com/@odds.
All right, we want to remind you all to call in. This is a live show. And the number to call in with comments, questions, anything you want to talk about at 248-455-ODDS. Because we are. That's 248-455-6337. Also remind you to check out our Facebook page and like it. And to check out capeconservative.com for past episodes.
Yes, yep. There's a talk show tab. Click on that. It'll make it real easy
Talk
to
show
get
tab.
to the
Talk show tab.
Talk show tab.
Talk show tab.
Real easy to get to the old shows from there.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
How easy is it? That easy.
Oh, boy.
It's just a click away.
That was a good game show. Do you remember that game show?
What's that?
And I can't remember the name of it now that you said what's that. You were supposed to just know it.
What's your line?
No, I don't think so. Oh. There was the panel of celebrities, and there was someone that...
That's about 50% of the game show. Match game.
There were people. And
prizes, money. They won stuff.
But they always had the funny things. That was so easy. And then the audience was always say, how easy was it? That was so easy, blank.
That's Match Game.
Is that Match Game?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's good stuff.
You're remembering. Yeah. You're just a young punk, though.
Yeah, I mean, I
think that show's been off the air longer than you've been alive.
I saw 30-year-old reruns on the Game Show Network.
Wow. All right. Well, we can get back. We mentioned New York. It looks like it's probably going to pass the Assembly. It has passed their state Senate. The governor said that he would sign it. I'm going to highlight some of the things. I mean, it's some of the most odious, bad juju gun
Onious
restrictions.
and odious. Remember, folks, this is for your safety, though, and the children.
Think of the children.
Just keep that in mind.
Okay, they're going to further restrict assault weapons to define them by a single feature. Now, it used to be 2 features. It had to be like a pistol grip and a suppressor or something. Now, if it just has a pistol grip...
You're talking about the ban under Clinton. It was from like 1994 to 2004.
No, this is New York's. They already have...
Oh, you're talking about... Oh, okay, I got you.
This is just the state of New York. So that means that, a lot of those home defense shotguns that you have that may be pumps and not semi-autos and so forth, if they have a pistol grip, now against the law.
Yep.
They're going to make the unsafe storage of assault weapons a misdemeanor. I guess it's just assault weapons.
You can store your
I guess you can have your other
unsafely.
guns lying around the house, but if it's...
How do you enforce something like that, though? I mean, come on.
After the fact.
You're going to let them... Yeah, exactly
after
right.
the fact.
A kid gets a hold of a gun and then...
shoots up a school and they punish the parents.
But, I mean, I guess if your mom wasn't a prepper, you would never go shoot up the school, would you?
Don't go there. All right, this is what I like. Mandate a police registry of assault weapons. Ooh, we don't like registries.
No,
registration leads to what?
Confiscation every single time.
Every time.
Every time. And I kind of want to talk about that with the Journal News. I know we've mentioned it, but we'll get into that about the progression that I'm seeing of registration to embarrassment to, forfeiture to confiscation.
Yep. We'll get that a little bit later in the show. We'll get to that. Okay, they want to establish a state registry for all private sales with a background check done through a licensed dealer for a fee, excluding sales to immediate relatives. So Nate and I, we're not related. I mean, not in that way.
Right.
Anyways, if I want to sell you one of my shotguns now, I guess you're going to have to get a background check, and then you're going to have to register that sale. And good Lord!
But if I want to sell it to my crazy uncle,
Bill,
Uncle Jeff, then that would be fine, right?
I've met him, and he shouldn't have a butter knife. This is the dangerous one. Require a therapist who believes a mental health patient made a credible threat to use a gun illegally to report the threat to a mental health director, who would have them have to report the serious threats to the State Department of Criminal Justice Services, and then a patient's gun could be taken from him or her. Now,
and
there's no potential for abuse there at all.
No, and this is right in line with what Obamacare was originally meant to do, and what I think that will come out of some of these executive orders that we're going to get to, as far as doctors' role in gun control.
And that's big news tomorrow at 11:45.
Yep.
He's going to talk about his directive towards the Congress to pass some laws and 19 apparently executive orders to beef up existing laws, so he says. So we'll see what he has to say about that tomorrow. Ban the internet sale of all assault weapons. Can't buy one over the internet anymore. Talk about a commerce breaker.
Yeah, no kidding. Are there any online retailers selling assault weapons anymore, though? I know they're all bailing out.
Head for the hills.
Yeah.
They're leaving on a jet plane.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess so. They'll be back in 4 more years.
Maybe. Require stores that sell ammunition to register with the state. Run background checks on buyers of bullets and keep an electronic database of bullet sales. Good Lord.
Whoa.
Talk about the burden on businesses.
That's going to be a hell of a database. I mean, you think of how many
millions
people buy
and millions
bullets.
of rounds of bullets people are going to buy, from little 22 calibers, up to shotgun shells, everything else.
I didn't hear if they were talking about taxing ammo more than they already do or not in that bill. But
I don't know if I haven't gotten there that far. We'll see. I don't know. Restrict ammunition magazines to 7 bullets, which is currently at 10. Current owners of high-capacity magazines would have 1 year to sell them out of state. And if someone caught with 8 or more bullets in a magazine could face a misdemeanor charge.
Just,
dear Lord.
Man.
Require that stolen guns be reported within 24 hours. Otherwise, the owner could face a misdemeanor. Increase sentences for gun crimes, including for taking a gun on school property. So now they have a state, gun-free school.
Yep.
Spank your little PP thing. Increase penalties for shooting first responders.
What? Wait.
Yep.
Wait. Okay. That caught me off guard because I had not seen that one.
Yeah, increase penalties for shooting first responders, by God.
It's not funny.
No, it's not. But
the thought of anybody being shot
it has a name.
Not
It's called
funny.
the Webster provision.
Yeah, go figure. But
2 firefighters were
really?
killed when shot by a person who set a fire in the western New York town of Webster.
Wow, they're not even trying to hide this whole "don't let a tragedy go to waste" thing, are they?
Life in prison if you do. Without parole.
Come on. Murder is illegal.
When did that happen?
Well, it's part of this new comprehensive package, I think. It's now
Okay.
illegal to kill people.
Damn. Well, there goes my weekend. All right, limit the state records law to protect handgun owners from being identified publicly. The provision would allow a handgun permit holder a means to maintain privacy. Well, there's one good thing. I guess that's the silver lining.
That's how this came about, because there was a big push for that legislation because of what the Journal News did in New York with publishing a couple counties worth of pistol holders or permit holders.
And this is what part of shall not be infringed and regulated. Require pistol permit holders or those who will be registered as owners of assault rifles to be recertified at least every 5 years to make sure they are still legally able to own guns.
Wow.
And that's the highlights. I'm sure there's a few other little things that are in there, but
I'm sure there's some money for research of
and they'll be the model. I'm sure they'll be the model for the federal regulations.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we talked about that quickly during that whole spiel of the 42 things that New York's doing, but Obama is scheduled, from what I've seen, to come out tomorrow at 11:45.
He's going to talk about what kind of executive orders that he's going to propose.
Yeah, and actually what's that? Oh, yeah,
our control room.
Well, tell him we're going to cut in live right now. I guess he has a surprise.
President Obama has an announcement.
Conference.
We got some live feed.
Here it comes. Everybody's guns are going to be taken away.
Oh, my God.
It's unfortunate, but that's the case. And if you look at over the first 4 years of my administration, we've tried to tighten up and enforce some of the laws that were already on the books. But it'd be pretty hard to argue that somehow gun owners have had their rights infringed.
Wow.
Huh.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I guess
that's big news.
He's repeating himself?
Here it comes. Everybody's guns are going to be taken away.
Oh, man.
Huh. Interesting.
I can't hardly believe that he would come out and do that.
Yeah, I mean, he said he would never do it, so it's kind of a shocker, right, that a communist would come in and try to take our guns away.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Who would have thought a communist a president, would take away the guns from the citizens? There's no precedent for that.
I know. President?
No precedent.
No precedent for a president like that. Now, actually, Brian was actually taking this Michael Moore filmmaking course. So he got a little creative with the editing.
How to take quotes out of context.
That was definitely out of context. What he really was saying was that every time that there's any talk about sensible gun legislation, that people think that they're going to take all their firearms. And he followed that up basically by saying that, he wants to take everybody's firearms. He really did mean that. He really did mean it, but
he's trying to soften the blow.
But he really is planning to hold a conference tomorrow at 11:45 in one of the auditoriums in the White House. I heard that he's going to have some children that wrote into him from Connecticut after the shooting. He's going to have these children there
to be human shields.
So he can use them as a shield. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody shoots at him.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
that's what a human shield is.
Well, yeah. Well, but you can use a shield for more than just bullets.
They're light. You can pick them up, put them right in front of you, hold them up there.
That's a good point.
Now,
God wouldn't put that past him.
Right. And God forbid that he should have.
Jeez, I laugh because it hurts. By the way,
we're crying on the inside.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
God forbid that he should have a few people on there that have had their lives saved by the use of, these so-called Homeland Security rifles.
Yeah.
God forbid he
won't
should
happen.
have any from that side.
There aren't any people like that,
no,
are
it's
there?
never happened.
Ed Schultz on MSNBC said that we've never had a civilian stop a mass murder.
No.
And I want to point out...
And technically, he might be true.
The first big point is we have, because police officers are civilians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
They have stopped mass murders.
Okay.
What he missed is it's really hard to disprove him, because armed civilians generally stop mass murders from ever beginning.
From
they don't
happening.
start. So you can't technically stop a mass murder in progress if a mass murder never
Gets
commences.
a chance to commit mass murder.
Exactly right. So why not avoid them altogether rather than have somebody have to stop it? But we are...
I know.
We are coming up on a break here. When we get back, we'll talk about the debt ceiling and some of the stuff that Obama has going on with that, and some of the lies he's been telling, and some comments Eric Holder has. And I want to go through some of the points that I think Obama will touch on with executive orders on gun control. So I want to remind you, this is brought to you by Audible.com. Head over to audibletrial.com/addodds and get your free audiobook download when you sign up for a 30-day trial. We will be right back. All right, we are back from break, and you know what, Brian, congratulations.
Thank you.
You got it that time. I'm pretty proud of you.
Shucks. Third time's the charm.
It only took...
You were going to fire me
It
if
only
I
took
hadn't.
14... Yeah, and I still might, but at least you got that right.
At least
So
hold
that's a
my
good thing.
paycheck back.
Yeah, well, I'll double it if you do it right again next time.
Well, what we were going to talk about is, now, we knew this was going to happen. Those of us that understood Obama's point and position on gun control and his administration. And there was foreshadowing for this, because he'd said this all along. He's not a gun person. He wants to take guns away. Eric Holder, who is the Attorney General.
Something like that. He pretends.
In 1995, he said a few things about what he would love to do in regards to, manipulating the perception of certain things.
Yeah, manipulating perception. I think
that's a good way.
Let's just listen to what he calls it.
In the way in which we've changed our attitudes about cigarettes. When I was growing up, people smoked all the time. I mean, both my parents did. But over time, we changed the way in which people thought about smoking, and so now we have people who cower outside of buildings and kind of smoke in private and don't want to admit it.
First of all, I mean, is that a good thing? Yeah. I mean, honestly, that the government thought that it was their role to step in and do anything with smoking and to demonize, the smokers, but more importantly, the cigarette manufacturers.
Nate.
Which he talks about, that we need to put more responsibility on the manufacturers.
2 words: greater good.
One, yeah, well, okay, I was going to say one word, communism, but I suppose so. Yeah, no, that's exactly right, and that he's comparing smokers cowering in the corner, trying to smoke in private, to how he wants gun owners to act. Sounds like concealed carry to me. Not that concealed carriers are cowering, but I mean, I'd rather know who's armed if I have a choice, but I shouldn't have that choice. But
what else does he say?
He does explain himself a bit more.
And that's what I think we need to do with guns. One thing that I think is clear with young people and with adults as well is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
Brainwash people.
Yeah, of course.
Brainwash.
Well, yeah, and he's had, how many years?
Yeah, well, and he's been working on it. What was that, 95, 97, something like that, when he said that. And, I mean, that's what they've been trying to do. He's a hell of a gun runner himself. And
well, I want to say that the president has really taken on this gun control issue one could almost say that he is fast and furious on how he's handling this, and that's a pun.
Sad. Yeah, it's a pun. It's sad.
Eric Holder is
well. Let's not forget that Fast and Furious was intended to run all these guns, these illegal guns, to Mexico, have a bunch of people murdered,
so they could use it
and brainwash the American people to think
excuse.
that guns are bad.
Yeah, I just heard on NPR our competitor say something about still using the fact that 85% of all guns used by the drug cartels are brought in by the United States. Well, that number's been disproved and taken out of context, but they're still using it. And it's like saying that 40% of all gun sales are private and there's no background check. Well, if there's no background check and it's private, how do they come up with 40%?
Yeah, how do you know? Which is exactly, I mean, that's fine. They shouldn't know.
That's
they
like saying
knowing.
40% of the unicorns are pink.
No, 35%.
No, it's
40%. You're absolutely wrong about that.
And I cannot prove it, but there's 40% of all unicorns are pink.
Well, it's the thing. Who's going to question it? We're questioning it, right?
Well, yeah, because we are...
In our audience understands...
Reasonable.
Yeah, our audience understands
logical.
that isn't reasonable to think that 40% of whatever or 80%...
Where do they pull that out of? I know where they pull it out of.
Yeah, exactly where they pull it out of. But nobody's going to question it, and they're just going to get away with it. They've been doing it for years. They just get away with lie after lie after lie.
Lie.
What are you going to do besides, speak back against it? We've mentioned this before. Lie. We've been hearing a lot of talk about, a violent pushback. I don't think it's time for that at all. But what are your options? You can scream back as much as you want, but when you don't have representatives that you elected that are even going to listen to what you want or what the majority of American people want, even the Republicans in Congress, who should be on our side, you would think, right? Because they weren't elected to be Democrats. I don't think that they're on our side too much, and I don't think that Congress is necessarily going to pass any sweeping gun control laws.
I don't think so either.
I think that we will get compromises on some mental health stuff.
We've got a few minutes. You were going to say something. You were going to make some predictions what you think that the president and his executive orders might entail.
Well, before I heard that he was coming out tomorrow to talk about his ideas, Hillary Clinton, she fell down and bonked her head. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Right before she was...
Jack and Jill.
Yeah, right before she was supposed to testify on Benghazi.
Oh, come on now.
Do you remember Benghazi was the guy that murdered people?
Yeah, the great Benghazi.
Yeah, right. Okay. We had 4 Americans murdered in Benghazi.
Heroes.
Hillary Clinton knows what the hell happened there. She knows why it went wrong. She knows why the right decisions weren't made. She bonked her head and got hurt, and it probably a legitimate injury. And then when that didn't last long enough, she got a blood clot, probably legitimate. She's
I'm hearing doubt.
She's going to testify next week. Finally, she's back on Benghazi. She's going to testify. We're going to have that going on, and we're going to have Obama signing executive orders going on, and they're meant to cover each other up because which one do you look at? Where
gun control or Benghazi?
Yeah. Which cups the ball under?
I still want to see Fast and Furious come out.
Yeah, and people are still working on it, but it's been swept under the rug by every other tragedy that came up. We had the debt ceilings coming up. We had the fiscal cliff that that swept a lot of that stuff under the rug. And we've got about 5 minutes left here. We're probably not going to get all of this in. Brian, if you want, we can.
Well, I think let's.
We can use up these 5 minutes, and
I'm not getting any of my booze coming across.
Yeah, I muted you. There,
Thanks
is
a
that
lot.
better? You want to boo now?
I want to boo
Go ahead.
now. Why would you mute me? I find that offensive.
Yeah, well, you're lucky I didn't mute your microphone.
I think what we're going to do tonight, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. What we'll do is we'll continue on right after this, but we have to log off of Spreaker and then come back on. Is that correct, Nate?
Yeah. We'll have to start the broadcast again. So I mean,
you guys can.
If you want to refresh the page, it should say live in red again or orange, and you'll just click play, and we'll be there.
And you can listen to it. And again, we've got telephone calls that we would love to have people come in at 248-455-6337. If you've got comments on anything that we're talking about, that would be great. We're not going to do our intro again. We'll just go right into it.
Yeah, that's
right?
fine. That's fine.
And,
but we do have a few more minutes left here.
Oh yeah,
if you want to.
You were going to do some executive. What do you think he might do? I think one will be background checks for all gun sales. As he's going to try to do something.
Yeah, and he's doing it under the guise of strengthening existing gun laws and things like that. So I think you're going to have things like background checks for all gun sales. I think he's going to try to put in a federal registration database through executive order. I think that we're going to see changes to Obamacare that I want to spend a little more time on.
I don't know about that.
We can talk about that in the next segment.
I think he'll mandate that states get up to speed and get all on the same page with reporting mental illness things and court orders on mental illness things. Not all states are doing that. I heard that California is one of the states that's really in compliance and does that automatically, but it took them like 10 or 12 years to get all of their system up. So this is not going to happen overnight, but I think he'll do some things in that regard. I don't know what else. What do you think? What else might he do?
Well, like I said, I want to talk about some Obamacare changes that I think will come out of this. I think he will try for an assault weapon type ban or banning
executive order
magazines.
I don't think so because
come on, he did amnesty through executive order.
Well, maybe, but he's already said that he's going to encourage Congress to do. Well, it might be 2 bites of the apple.
This is exactly right. This is going to be and it's going to be a longer term process. He's gonna push Congress to do this. Congress isn't going to, because there will be a few Republicans in the House that actually do what they were elected to do, and they are not going to vote for any sweeping gun legislation.
I hope so.
And he's going to come back and say, "Hey, kids are dying. I can't wait."
Right.
We can't wait for Congress. It would be irresponsible. It would be unpatriotic.
Safety is the tyrant's tool.
It would be unpatriotic to wait for Congress to act if they're not going to act.
Unpatriotic.
Yeah, he likes to say that about debt and things.
Well, we got to look at our conscience.
He's incurred some debt.
Yeah.
And then he said Bush was unpatriotic for incurring debt.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the debt limit and things like that on the next half hour. Are we getting close, Nate?
We're pretty close.
I want to say go ahead and check out Facebook at Odds. We have a web page. Not a web page, a Facebook page.
Yeah, facebook.com/@odds-show.
We have updates on there. It tells us when our shows are going on and things like that. Please like it and pass it on to your friends if you like the show. Also, check out capeconservative.com. It's a conservative blog, and you can check out past shows on that as well.
Yeah, and don't forget, we will have an interview coming up with Tom Martin, founder of American Preppers Network.
Right. That'll be an upcoming show.
We're going to interview him and get to know preppers a little better and what American Preppers Network is all about. I want to remind you, though, to head over to audibletrial.com/@odds. Get your free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial. You can cancel at any time. 100,000. They've got about 100,000 selections over there, different titles, things for your iPhone,
get the Quran.
iPod. You could probably get the Quran. That might be a good choice.
Yep.
MP3 players, iPhones, iPads, Android devices, all those things.
They all work on that.
Audibletrial.com/@odds. We will be right back.